Chapter 1520. Whether it's useful, you'll know after trying. Contestant number 45, named Wang Zhongjiu, comes from the Xuanwu Star region. Wang Zhongjiu has the realm of a small god sovereign and is skilled in defense. In the fourth round of the competition, he made a comeback and defeated contestant number 18, advancing to the fifth round. From the numbering, it seems he is quite different from Chu Xiong. Of course, Lin Moyu is not clear about the specific situation. When obtaining the number, Chu Xiong and Zhuang Bai used some small tricks to gain an advantage in the numbering. It was precisely by leveraging this advantage that Chu Xiong's opponents in the first 4 rounds were not very strong. Lin Moyu is not sure about Chu Xiong's true strength either.
Zhuang Bai explained. He knows Wang Zhongjiu, and their strengths are evenly matched.
Chu Xiong shook his head.
No, his soul is not as strong as mine. If we were outside, I would have a chance to kill him. But here, I'm not confident. This guy's defense is too abnormal.
Wang Zhongjiu comprehends the water and earth laws. The 2 laws achieve a perfect balance, and combined, his defense ranks among the top 3 among all small god sovereigns. This is also one of the reasons why the competition is held in an arena, even though all contestants can fly in the starry sky. It's to accommodate some special laws. One characteristic of the earth law is that as long as one stands on the ground, they can continuously draw power from it, without worrying about exhausting their strength. Chu Xiong said angrily,
As long as Wang Zhongjiu doesn't leave the arena, I can't do anything to him.
Lin Moyu tore off a piece of meat and threw it into his mouth.
Then just wear him down.
Chu Xiong shook his head.
I can't wear him down. As long as he stays in the arena, his strength won't run out. He will keep attacking, and your strength will gradually be exhausted.
Lin Moyu could imagine the scene. Wang Zhongjiu transforming into a turret, standing in the center of the arena, continuously launching attacks. Even if Chu Xiong tried to wear him down, he would eventually be worn out. Su Jianxing, who was beside them, said,
I watched Wang Zhongjiu's 4th round match. That's exactly how he fought, eventually wearing his opponent to death.
Lin Moyu asked,
Is there no way to deal with him?
Chu Xiong shook his head.
Maybe there is, but I can't think of one.
Zhuang Bai said,
If your strength is strong enough to break his defense, you can defeat him. Or if you can restrict his earth law, that would work too. From what I know about these contestants, Dong Fangzhe, Wei Bowen, and Qin Fei can all defeat him.
Lin Moyu thought for a moment and took out a magical artifact. It was a rope-like magical artifact only at the true god realm. The rope was thin and long, coiled into a ball in his palm, resembling a ball of thread.
This is a trophy I obtained during a mission. It's not very useful, but I found it interesting, so I kept it.
Lin Moyu wasn't lying. He had obtained many trophies from various missions. Most of them were sold, but he kept some interesting trinkets. The rope in his hand was one of them, called the heart-linking rope. The heart-linking rope doesn't have much use. It can forcibly bind 2 people together, making them inseparable for a certain period. If Chu Xiong uses it, he can bind himself to Wang Zhongjiu. Then Chu Xiong can take him off the ground, breaking his earth law. However, the heart-linking rope has limitations. Since it's only a true god realm magical artifact, its effect on a god king realm being is very short. If Wang Zhongjiu were a small god sovereign, it wouldn't work at all. Now that he's suppressed to the 1st rank of the god king realm, the effect won't last more than 2 minutes. This means Chu Xiong must defeat Wang Zhongjiu within 2 minutes. Once Wang Zhongjiu returns to the ground, Chu Xiong will lose. Chu Xiong, who was initially very frustrated, took the heart-linking rope and, after refining it, suddenly burst into laughter.
Good stuff. 2 minutes is enough. Tomorrow, I'll beat him up.
Zhuang Bai left.
Beat him up well, beat him hard.
Lin Moyu asked,
Senior brother Zhuang, is there any problem with your opponent tomorrow?
Zhuang Bai shook his head.
No problem. At most it'll take some effort.
Hearing this, Lin Moyu knew there wouldn't be any issues. Zhuang Bai, unlike Chu Xiong, was cautious and rarely made mistakes. To be selected as a seed player, one must either be extremely strong or have great potential. Both Zhuang Bai and Chu Xiong, as small god sovereigns, had considerable strength. Entering the top 16 shouldn't be a problem. Especially after obtaining lower numbers, their opponents were much weaker, making it even less of an issue. Lin Moyu raised his wine glass.
I wish both senior brothers victory tomorrow and advancement to the top 16.
Chu Xiong raised his glass and clinked it with Lin Moyu's.
Just watch. Tomorrow I'll beat that old turtle hard.
The fifth round of battles arrived as scheduled, and Lin Moyu watched the matches again, wanting to see how Chu Xiong would beat his opponent. The fifth round had only 15 matches. The Human Emperor Network made some changes, with only 5 matches happening simultaneously each time. Based on the numbering, the first matches were between contestants numbered 2 to 6. Chu Xiong was teleported into the arena, and Lin Moyu saw the cultivator named Wang Zhongjiu. He looked like a middle-aged man, but there was a hint of worry in his brows. In the arena, he greeted Chu Xiong and spoke to him. The two knew each other, but Chu Xiong didn't pay much attention to him. After a few words, they seemed to have a disagreement. Lin Moyu felt there might be some backstory, but it wasn't his concern. The battle began, and Wang Zhongjiu leaped up, his body instantly covered in solid ice. He didn't charge at Chu Xiong, but instead fell like a meteor, directly hitting the center of the arena. Then his law domain expanded, and he half-crouched on the ground, transforming into a turret. His law domain merged with the arena, and most of the arena glowed with a yellowish-brown light, becoming his energy source. The ice on his body thickened, and countless ice arrows formed. The dense ice arrows shot towards Chu Xiong. This was his attack method. Standing in the center of the arena, using it as his energy source to continuously attack. Relying on the strong defense provided by the two laws, he could ignore his opponent's attacks. Although his attacks weren't very strong, they were enough to wear down his opponent. Without the heart-linking rope, Chu Xiong would indeed be helpless against him. But now, Chu Xiong's power erupted, and his law domain expanded. Countless battle knives appeared in Chu Xiong's law domain, flying up and cutting down all the ice arrows. Chu Xiong charged towards Wang Zhongjiu, his law domain shattering the ice arrows along the way. This showed that, in terms of pure attack power, Chu Xiong far surpassed Wang Zhongjiu. Cultivators from the Xuanwu Star region were known for their defense, ranking first, and their attack ranking last. Chu Xiong broke through the rain of ice arrows and rushed to Wang Zhongjiu. Wang Zhongjiu, half-crouched on the ground, continued to control the ice arrows to attack Chu Xiong. With a disdainful look,
Chu Bear, you know my defense. You can't break it.
Chu Xiong grinned, showing his white teeth.
Old turtle, I have a way to deal with you.
Wang Zhongjiu remained unmoved.
Then try it.
Chu Xiong's law domain expanded, and the battle knives formed a whirlwind, breaking through Wang Zhongjiu's ice arrows and landing on him, producing dense collision sounds. A yellowish-brown light emerged from Wang Zhongjiu, and with the help of the Earth Law, he remained unmoved.
It's useless.
Wang Zhongjiu said calmly. Chu Xiong took out a thin rope, his smile widening.
Whether it's useful, you'll know after trying.
1521, 1521. Chapter 1521. I just want to beat you up. No reason needed. Wang Zhongjiu saw the rope in Chu Xiong's hand and felt a sense of foreboding. He realized that things might go badly. A small god-sovereign soul is very strong, and their sixth sense is very sharp. They often have a premonition about things that are about to happen and are unfavorable to them. But it was too late. The rope in Chu Xiong's hand instantly grew larger and thicker, then flew over like a python, binding Wang Zhongjiu. Wang Zhongjiu frowned slightly, wondering what it meant to be tied up with a rope. His laws and strength were not affected at all. As long as he didn't move, Chu Xiong couldn't do anything to him. But in the next second, something happened that made him panic. The other end of the rope was actually connected to Chu Xiong, wrapped around his arm several times. In an instant, Wang Zhongjiu felt an unclear connection between himself and Chu Xiong. as if they had become one and could not be separated. Wang Zhongjiu gritted his teeth and said,
Chu Bear, what are you trying to do?
Chu Xiong Lao Get?
You'll find out soon enough.
Wang Zhongjiu's whole body jerked, and an irresistible force directly pulled him off the ground. As soon as he left the ground, the Earth Law was interrupted, and his defensive power greatly weakened. Wang Zhongjiu struggled desperately. His hands and feet were not restricted and could move freely. But he couldn't get too far from Chu Xiong. The two of them were less than a meter apart. This was the effect of the heart-linking rope, which made it impossible for the two to separate. If he were a small god sovereign now, he could easily break free from the heart-linking rope. But now he was only at the first rank of the God King realm, and the heart-linking rope could bind him for a full 2 minutes.
Old turtle, get ready to be beaten up.
Chu Xiong's voice rang in his ears, followed by a fist the size of a sandbag landing on his head. With a bang, Chu Xiong's heavy punch left Wang Zhongjiu a bit dazed. Leaving the ground and losing the protection of the Earth Law, Wang Zhongjiu's defensive power greatly decreased and could no longer fully block Chu Xiong's heavy punches. But this was just the beginning. Countless battle knives followed. Chu Xiong dragged Wang Zhongjiu into the whirlwind formed by the battle knives. The battle knives formed by the laws fell densely on Wang Zhongjiu, continuously shattering his defenses. Wang Zhongjiu roared repeatedly, his body covered in layers of ice, but they were quickly shattered by the battle knives. He fought back with all his might, but his attacks were not very effective and were all blocked by Chu Xiong's battle knives. Chu Xiong's iron fists were like the wind, and the battle knives were like rain, beating Wang Zhongjiu until he screamed in pain. In just over 20 seconds, with a loud bang, all the ice shattered, and Wang Zhongjiu's defenses collapsed. Chu Xiong let out a mad laugh.
Next, I'm going to beat you up hard. These 100 punches are for you being so arrogant usually.
Amid Wang Zhongjiu's continuous screams, Chu Xiong rained down over 100 punches, accompanied by his wild laughter.
These 100 punches are for you competing with me for Shaolin.
Another 100 punches, beating Wang Zhongjiu until his skin was torn and his flesh was lacerated.
These 100 punches are for you taking my mission reward.
Another 100 punches, and Wang Zhongjiu screamed.
When did I take your mission reward?
Chu Xiong shouted.
If you hadn't thickened your face and squeezed in, would that mission have included you?
Wang Zhongjiu replied.
But I also contributed to the mission. I don't care.
Chu Xiong roared, delivering dozens more punches. Wang Zhongjiu was unconvinced and continued to shout.
Then what's the reason now? These few 100 punches are because I just want to beat you up. No reason needed.
Chu Xiong began to be unreasonable. His fists, accompanied by knives, became more and more frenzied. In just 1 minute, Wang Zhongjiu's entire body was covered in wounds, looking as miserable as could be. Chu Xiong grabbed Wang Zhongjiu.
Admit defeat, or I'll keep beating you.
Wang Zhongjiu's eyes opened from the blood, and the past minute was the most torturous experience he had ever had. He wanted to speak, but his throat seemed to be injured and he couldn't make a sound. Seeing this, Chu Xiong said,
You won't admit defeat, huh? Then keep getting beaten.
With a flurry of punches, Wang Zhongjiu felt wronged. It wasn't that he didn't want to admit defeat, but he couldn't make a sound. Chu Xiong was clearly doing it on purpose, deliberately injuring his throat and then finding an excuse to beat him up. Wang Zhongjiu's injuries looked severe, but they were all superficial. For a god king, such superficial injuries were nothing. Even if his arms and legs were broken, they could regenerate. The key was that it hurt. It really hurt. Those punches and knives were no different from being flayed alive. Wang Zhongjiu couldn't take it anymore. He really wanted to admit defeat, but he couldn't make a sound. Finally, he had a bright idea and used his soul to communicate with the human emperor network, shouting, I admit defeat. The formation on the arena activated, and a vast force separated the two. Chu Xiong received the notification of his victory, and the two disappeared from the arena. Everyone watching the battle held their breath. It wasn't that the process was particularly exciting, But Chu Xiong was too brutal. A fellow small god sovereign, Wang Zhongjiu, was beaten so miserably. Chu Xiong instantly became a brutal figure in many people's minds. However, Chu Xiong was in an exceptionally good mood, with a satisfied smile on his face, drinking large gulps of wine.
It was so satisfying. I've wanted to beat that guy up for years. Finally got the chance this time. Lin Moyu, your heart-linking rope is really useful.
Chu Xiong raised his wine glass to Lin Moyu on the rooftop. Lin Moyu was watching Zhuang Bai's battle, seeing Zhuang Bai steadily gaining the upper hand, suppressing his opponent without any resistance. Lin Moyu knew Zhuang Bai was sure to win. Looking at the other battles, Dongfang Zhe, Qing Fei, and Wei Bowen, the top-ranked seed players, had no problems. Lin Moyu retracted his gaze and flew down from the rooftop.
Senior brother Chu still showed mercy.
Chu Xiong said,
We're all from the same clan. Although I dislike that guy, I wouldn't go so far as to kill him. Come, drink. Today I'm in a great mood. Let's drink until we're drunk.
Lin Moyu nodded and drank with Chu Xiong. Wang Zhongjiu's injuries were all superficial and would heal in half a day, not affecting the subsequent round-robin tournament. After the top 16 were decided today, the next step was the round-robin tournament. No one knew what format the round-robin tournament would take. The Human Emperor Network used different formats each time, making it impossible to predict. There had been individual round-robins, team round-robins, and even chaotic battles. The Human Emperor Network seemed to adjust the format based on the strength of the contestants each time. The specific rules would only be announced just before the round-robin tournament began. Moments later, Zhuang Bai also returned from the arena. Zhuang Bai's victory was unsurprising, and the entire process was steady and methodical. Chu Xiong shouted,
Old Zhuang, come drink with me. Today is really satisfying.
Zhuang Bai chuckled.
Got your revenge? Yes, I did, all of it.
He drank large gulps of wine and soon became drunk. It's hard for a god king to get drunk. Ordinary wine won't do. Only wine that can intoxicate the soul can make a god king drunk. But today was different. Chu Xiong wanted to get drunk, so any wine would do. Shuang B-side.
I hope he can really let go after this.
Lin Moyu smiled.
It seems there's a story to be told. Senior brother Zhuang, would you like to share?
Zhuang Bai laughed.
It's actually nothing much.
1522 Chapter 1522. Senior brother Lin is truly amazing. While Chu Xiong was dead drunk, Zhuang Bai rarely spoke about Chu Xiong's embarrassing stories. Chu Xiong once met a female cultivator named Xiao Ling during a mission. Chu Xiong fell in love with Xiao Ling at first sight, but Xiao Ling was not interested in Chu Xiong. However, because Chu Xiong was powerful, Xiao Ling would take the initiative to invite Chu Xiong on subsequent missions. This made Chu Xiong mistakenly believe that Xiao Ling was interested in him. Later, Wang Zhongjiu appeared and joined them on their missions. For some reason, Xiao Ling eventually married Wang Zhongjiu. Since then, Chu Xiong had always held a grudge against Wang Zhongjiu, often referring to it as a
wife-stealing hatred.
Zhuang Bai laughed and said,
Actually, this guy was the third party. Xiao Ling and Wang Zhongjiu were childhood sweethearts and had been engaged for a long time. After this incident, his anger should have subsided.
Lin Moyu looked at Chu Xiong and didn't know what to say. Turned out that the so-called
wife-stealing hatred
was all Chu Xiong's wishful thinking. However, based on Lin Moyu's understanding of Chu Xiong, this guy seemed carefree on the surface but was actually very thoughtful. He probably knew the truth long ago but couldn't let go of his pride. This matter would not be mentioned again in the future. It would just drift away in the wind and scatter among the stars. Chu Xiong was drunk for more than half a day and only woke up after the competition had ended. After waking up, Chu Xiong was still the same as usual. Lin Moyu and Zhuang Bai tacitly did not mention anything about Wang Zhongjiu. The fifth round of the competition did not have any major surprises. Among the 15 winners, 12 were contestants numbered 2 to 13, including Lin Moyu, The top 16 included contestants numbered 1 to 13. Among these 13, 3 were from the Divine City, and 2 were from the War God Hall. The remaining 8 were recommended by the lords of the 4-star regions. This not only proved their absolute strength, but also showed that the lords of the 4-star regions had good judgment. The remaining 3 contestants were numbered 18, 19, and 21, also low-numbered contestants. The Azure Dragon Star region had 4 spots, while the White Tiger Star region and the Xuanwu Star region each had 2. After the competition, Su Jianxing also came over, looking somewhat nervous. The round-robin tournament would start the next day, and although the specific format was still unknown, everything would depend on strength. Su Jianxing was relatively weak among everyone, so he would inevitably suffer. The next day, all contestants received a reminder from the Human Emperor Network. The round-robin tournament will officially start in 1 hour. Contestants, please prepare. Until the start of the round-robin tournament, no one knew the specific rules. Preparation was difficult. Lin Moyu took out several True God Realm magical artifacts and gave them to Su Jianxing. They were not weapons or similar artifacts, as Su Jianxing did not lack those. What Lin Moyu gave were some magical artifacts with unique functions. For example, one artifact was a small sword that had no offensive capabilities. Its function was to absorb the user's blood and turn the user into a blood person. In the blood person state, the user could be immune to most law damage while their own attacks remained unaffected. This was a good auxiliary artifact, but its duration was very short, only 1 minute. There were several such miscellaneous artifacts, which Lin Moyu found interesting and kept. To him, they were just toys, but in certain situations they could be very useful. For example, the heart-linking rope, which Chu Xiong used to easily defeat Wang Zhongjiu. Some artifacts, when used appropriately, could be extremely effective. As for how Su Jianxing would use them, that was up to him. The most useful artifact was a jade token that could hide one's aura. Although the jade token was only a True God Realm artifact, once used, even a God King would find it difficult to detect. Zhuang Bai looked at the items Lin Moyu gave and had a suspicion.
Junior brother Lin, do you have some guesses about the rules of the round-robin tournament?
Lin Moyu said.
I do have some guesses, but they may not be accurate.
Su Jianxing's eyes lit up.
Senior brother Lin, please share your thoughts.
Lin Moyu naturally did not keep them in suspense.
With so many people in the round-robin tournament, it's impossible to have one-on-one matches. I initially guessed that the round-robin tournament would lightly simulate a battlefield. Since it's a battlefield simulation, it would naturally simulate various situations. So I think the round-robin tournament is very likely to be a team competition, a chaotic battle, or even a combination of multiple formats. This would test your actual combat abilities, adaptability, and teamwork skills. Based on your performance, you would receive a comprehensive score.
It was for this reason that Lin Moyu gave Su Jianxing these artifacts, just in case. Su Jianxing admired Lin Moyu immensely. It seemed that as long as there was a clue, Lin Moyu could deduce many possibilities. This ability was something Su Jianxing could never match. He began to familiarize himself with the artifacts. If the round-robin tournament was as Lin Moyu predicted, these artifacts would be very useful. An hour later, he was teleported into the arena. Lin Moyu, Zhuang Bai, and Chu Xiong began watching the round-robin tournament. Their top 16 matches would start after the round-robin tournament, but the rules had not yet been determined. The round-robin tournament would also provide valuable reference for them. Many arenas appeared with large forests, lakes, islands, and glaciers. Some arenas had stars in the sky, with cold ice stars and scorching suns, bringing different environmental changes. Some arenas even turned into worlds of lava. Different arenas had different terrains. But one common feature was that each arena had 4 large gates around it. No one knew where the gates led. Nearly 500 contestants were teleported into different arenas, with 5 to 10 contestants in each arena, the numbers varying. At this moment, the Human Emperor Network finally announced the rules of the round-robin tournament. The rules of the round-robin tournament are as follows. Everyone starts with 100 points. The goal is to defeat opponents. The winner gains 1 point, and the loser loses 1 point. Losers will be randomly teleported to another arena. Each arena has different environments and varying numbers of contestants. Contestants can also use the teleportation gates around the arena to enter other arenas. Contestants can form teams. Points gained will be evenly distributed among team members. If the points gained are less than 0.5, no points will be awarded. Contestants who feel they cannot win can surrender and will be randomly teleported to another arena. Other restrictions are the same as in the arena matches and must not be violated. The round-robin tournament will last for 30 days. Note: the arenas are not safe. Do not stay in one place for too long. Reading the rules, many people were confused and didn't fully understand them. However, some quick-witted individuals immediately grasped the meaning of the round-robin tournament. At this moment, Su Jianxing was truly convinced. Lin Moyu's guess was not far off.
Senior brother Lin is truly amazing to have guessed this. Don't rush. As junior brother Lin said, let's analyze the rules first. Only by understanding the rules can we avoid suffering. We have 30 days, so let's take our time.
An hour later, he was teleported into the arena. Lin Moyu, Zhuang Bai, and Chu Xiong began watching the round-robin tournament. Their top 16 matches would start after the round-robin tournament, but the rules had not yet been determined. The round-robin tournament would also provide valuable reference for them. Many arenas appeared with large forests, lakes, islands, and glaciers. Some arenas had stars in the sky, with cold ice stars and scorching suns, bringing different environmental changes. Some arenas even turned into worlds of lava. Different arenas had different terrains. But one common feature was that each arena had 4 large gates around it. No one knew where the gates led. Nearly 500 contestants were teleported into different arenas, with 5 to 10 contestants in each arena, the numbers varying. At this moment, the Human Emperor Network finally announced the rules of the round-robin tournament. The rules of the round-robin tournament are as follows. Everyone starts with 100 points. The goal is to defeat opponents. The winner gains 1 point, and the loser loses 1 point. Losers will be randomly teleported to another arena. Each arena has different environments and varying numbers of contestants. Contestants can also use the teleportation gates around the arena to enter other arenas. Contestants can form teams. Points gained will be evenly distributed among team members. If the points gained are less than 0.5, no points will be awarded. Contestants who feel they cannot win can surrender and will be randomly teleported to another arena. Other restrictions are the same as in the arena matches and must not be violated. The round-robin tournament will last for 30 days. Note: the arenas are not safe. Do not stay in one place for too long. Reading the rules, many people were confused and didn't fully understand them. However, some quick-witted individuals immediately grasped the meaning of the round-robin tournament. At this moment, Su Jianxing was truly convinced. Lin Moyu's guess was not far off.
Senior brother Lin is truly amazing to have guessed this. Don't rush. As junior brother Lin said, let's analyze the rules first. Only by understanding the rules can we avoid suffering. We have 30 days, so let's take our time.
1523 1523. Chapter 1523. The rules are full of traps. The rules are very clear, but they also hide some other information. Lin Moyu noticed this. One rule states that multiple people can join forces, but the points gained from a victory must be evenly split. If the points are less than 0.5, no points will be awarded. This means that at most only 2 people can team up. If 3 people team up and defeat someone, none of the 3 will get any points. This is the key point. The rules do not clearly define what constitutes teaming up. For example, if he is fighting someone and is about to win, and someone else intervenes and attacks, even if it's just a light touch, does that count as teaming up? If it does, Su Jianxing had some peculiar thoughts. There is also the option to surrender voluntarily, which will result in being randomly teleported to another arena. This can prevent oneself from getting injured. If you know you can't win, it's better to surrender and wait for another opportunity. And the last rule, do not stay in one place for too long. Thinking of this, Su Jianxing immediately started moving. He didn't know what would happen if he stayed in one place for too long, but since the Human Emperor Network mentioned it in the rules, it's best to follow it. Su Jianxing was currently in a dense forest, with ancient trees towering above and some wild grass taller than a person, and the area was full of thorns. Moving through such a forest was very difficult. Flying was not restricted, so he could fly up to get a better view. In such an environment, having a good view is very important. However, after thinking it over, Su Jianxing decided not to fly. He continued to move cautiously through the forest. After a while, he finally saw another contestant. Su Jianxing recognized him. He was contestant number 399 from the Xuanwu Star region. His strength was slightly higher than Su Jianxing's, and because of his outstanding defense, Su Jianxing was not confident in defeating him. Su Jianxing concealed his aura as much as possible to avoid being detected. Contestant 399 flew over his head, but before he could fly far, a law transformed into a sharp arrow and shot up from the ground. The arrow was incredibly fast and pierced through his body. With a scream, contestant 399 fell from the sky.
Sure enough, there is danger.
Su Jianxing's heart tightened. There was indeed danger, and he was glad he hadn't flown. At the same time, his eyes lit up as he stared in the direction where the contestant had fallen.
There's an opportunity.
He quickly sneaked over, taking out a jade token and sticking it to himself. The jade token concealed his aura and masked his movements. Su Jianxing soon found him. He was leaning against a tree, healing his wounds. The wound was severe but not fatal. However, it seemed he couldn't move for the time being and had lost his combat ability. Su Jianxing took out a longbow, drew it, and shot an arrow in one smooth motion. The contestant never expected to be ambushed. By the time he reacted, it was too late. Su Jianxing's arrow pierced his heart. With a scream, the contestant's body disappeared. Defeated one contestant, gained 1 point. Su Jianxing received a notification from the Human Emperor Network. He wasn't worried about actually killing the opponent. Since the Human Emperor Network allowed them to do this, it naturally had a way to control it. A minute later, the contestant Su Jianxing had ambushed reappeared in another arena. The Human Emperor Network had healed his wounds, and most of his injuries were already healed, though not completely. At least he could move, and it would take him at most an hour to fully recover.
Damn it, who ambushed me? If I find out, I'll make you pay.
He cursed as he began to heal himself. The round-robin tournament had begun, and the attention of the entire human race, across all star regions and star systems, was focused on the competition. Shortly after the competition started, contestants began encountering each other and fighting. Some were ambushed, some were assassinated, and some were defeated head-on. Points began to change, and the rankings also shifted. Everyone started with 100 points, and Su Jianxing, having gained 1 point, was now in the top 10. However, given his strength, he would eventually drop down. After all, his realm was not high enough, and his strength was somewhat lacking. Zhuang Bichicled.
Junior brother Lin's guess was quite accurate. It is indeed a combination of multiple formats.
Lin Moyu smiled.
A guess is just a guess. Ultimately, it depends on Junior Brother Su's judgment and adaptability. But it seems Junior Brother Su is very smart and has grasped the key points of the rules.
Chu Xiong scratched his head.
These rules seem to have a lot of twists and turns. It's making my head hurt. Junior Brother Lin, can you explain it to me?
Chu Xiong wasn't stupid, he just didn't like to think too much. Or you could say he was lazy. Lin Moyu didn't refuse.
First, the rule about defeating opponents doesn't mention killing, which means the rules have changed. But this point conflicts with the restrictions in the elimination rounds, so you need to find a balance yourself. God King Realm magical artifacts are definitely not allowed, soul attacks are also prohibited, and you can't intentionally kill someone. but the rules are somewhat relaxed. I think severely injuring an opponent is not a problem, and junior brother Su has grasped this point.
Zhuang chuckled.
Indeed, just now junior brother Su shot an arrow through the opponent's heart. If this were the elimination rounds, it would definitely not be allowed, but it seems to be fine here.
Lin Moyu continued.
Second, the teleportation gates around the arena can lead to other arenas, giving strong contestants the opportunity to move to other arenas and gain more points, thereby widening the gap between high and low scores. Third, if a contestant feels they can't win, they can surrender and be teleported to another arena. For weaker contestants, this is a form of protection to avoid injury. For stronger contestants, it's a way to spend 1 point to save a lot of time.
Chu Xiong was stunned.
You mean, even if you don't encounter a strong opponent, you can use this method to switch arenas?
Lin Moyu nodded.
It should be possible. Fourth, no more than 3 people can team up. If 3 people team up, no points will be awarded. If 2 people team up, they each get half the points. The efficiency may not be higher than going solo, but it's definitely safer. But you can have 3 or even 4 people team up, with only 2 people attacking. This way, you get both safety and points. However, this rule also gives opportunities to ambushers. You can intervene when others are almost done fighting. You can still get points without really fighting.
Chu Xiong was stunned again.
Isn't that very despicable?
Zhuang Bai answered for Lin Moyu.
There's no such thing as despicable on the battlefield. Everything is done for victory, and there's nothing you can't do.
The arena is a light simulation of a battlefield. In a real battlefield, there are plenty of ambushers.
The last point is to keep moving. If you stay in one place for too long, you'll be attacked by the formation. Also, you can't move around randomly. The arena is not safe, and you might get attacked. I think there are many traps in the arena, and these can actually be used to your advantage. If you can make good use of the rules, even if your strength is lacking, your ranking won't be too bad.
Chu Xiong felt overwhelmed.
Why are there so many twists and turns? It's really giving me a headache. I hope our competition won't be this kind of round-robin tournament.
Zhuang Bai glanced at Lin Moyu.
If our competition is similar, junior brother Lin's opponents will surely suffer.
Lin Moyu is too smart, analyzing and utilizing the rules to the extreme. Being his opponent would be very painful. Lin Moyu shook his head.
No, in the face of absolute strength, rules don't matter much.
1524, 1524.